And thanks for tuning in to our web exclusive. I'm Kelly Sullivan alongside Eyewitness News analyst Lieutenant General Reginald Centracchio. And we first want to talk about President Obama planning to make a trip here to Rhode Island tomorrow. Is the area prepared?
It is. You know, when they schedule these things, they schedule them several weeks out. And all of the resources and all the screening and all of the making sure nothing's out of order, so to speak. All the communications are in place, the evacuation plan, and all of the subordinate law enforcement agencies are all briefed as to exactly what's going to happen, who's going to take the responsibility for it. So we're ready for it, and the only thing you need to do is the thing that you can't really predict what might happen. And that's why you have contingency plans, such as evacuation and other things that might present themselves when you least expect it.
Busy tomorrow, too, because not only Obama going to be at Rick, but also we have Romney, who's going to be in downtown Providence at the Biltmore Hotel.
That's correct.
Campaigning for Fung.
Yep. And when you look at that, you say, well, where do all the resources come from? Well, the Providence Police puts an awful lot of assets into it. You certainly have Secret Service coming in from Washington, other things that we don't see behind the scenes. Certainly a lot of mutual aid is in place. Evacuation once again for both those individuals should something go wrong. And so what you see is an awful lot of pre-planning and everybody comes together. There's a lot of cross-section of communications. And so between the president and Romney, you're going to see quite a busy area over the next several hours. And
speaking of the president, you know, he was supposed to be in New Jersey and Connecticut today, but canceled those plans because of the Ebola ongoing crisis there, meeting with CDC. A lot going on. Do you think it was a good move for him to cancel those events?
Absolutely. You know, I'm not sure of the significance of the meeting with his cabinet, but when you start to look at what's happening in Texas and the possibility of that expanding well beyond the Texas borders, and the airlines that we recently had quite a few people at least subject to being in that same environment. A lot of planning once again goes into place, and therein lies what CDC is probably going to brief him on today, and that's the ability to have a rapid force response team to be able to supplement the hospitals across the nation. And hopefully it will never be to the point where we become totally saturated, but that's to prevent that from happening.
And constantly working on the ongoing crisis and how that second healthcare worker managed to come down with Ebola. So a lot going on that front that we have to take here within our own country. But moving overseas now, switching topics, talking about ISIS, the airstrikes continuing in Syria. How's that going?
You know, it's not going very well. We're seeing that we're perhaps being effective in taking out different communications headquarters and some financial concerns, some command and control. But what's happened now is they've moved their assets into the population. And it's very, very hard without ground troops being able to tell you specifically what target is one that should be taken out. So as much as we're taking out some significant things here and there, it's not taking out the effective aspects of ISIS, which is huge at this particular point. So it's not effective, but it is putting a little bit of a stand back in reference to them being able to just push through as they did from Syria all the way into almost into Baghdad.
But Turkey is helping out a little bit at this point, right?
You're right, Kelly. In the last day or so, they've made a significant effort to be able to battle it within their own border. Certainly helping the Kurds to be able to hold back Kobani. And if that fell, then we'd have some significant problems about Turkey itself. So I think Turkey recognizes she has got to be engaged, and we've seen that over the last day or so.
And also, too, you know, we're trying to get some help from Russia. Do you foresee that happening?
I don't see that you see any significant ground troops or any other assets being put into the fight. I do see, however, that there's a renewed effort to share information and intelligence between Russia and the United States as it relates to ISIS. And I think that's very important. There's a wide divide, however, between the Ukrainian scenario and the United States and Russia. But I think Russia recognizes, as well as China, that ISIS is not just within the borders of Syria and the Mideast, that they very well could be a target also.
And just quickly, you know, this fight against ISIS could be going on for some time.
Well, they were talking several years, perhaps decades, before we actually get a handle on it.
Wow. All right, General, thanks so much, and thanks for joining us on this web exclusive.